Plastic Goddamn Beach. I can't believe it took me this long to dedicate a video to this album, man. You may or may not know that Plastic Beach is my favorite album ever. Of all time. No contest. There are a few albums that come close, like the Now Now or Park Life by Blur, but nothing quite beats Plastic Beach for me. This is just my favorite body of work in the history of mankind. I consider this to not only be the best Gorillaz album, but the best thing Damon Albarn has ever created. 5 years after Demon Days, Gorillaz changed their sound in a pretty big way. They strayed away from the more trip-hop and dub-inspired sound from their first two albums, and delved into a more synth-pop and electronica sound. Believe it or not, this was pretty controversial at the time, and the album ended up being pretty divisive in the fandom. But nowadays, almost 15 years later, it's seen as the absolute classic that it is, and is acclaimed by fans and critics alike. I feel like this album doesn't need much more introduction, to be honest. I mean, it's Plastic Beach. So without further ado, let's get into this masterpiece. Oh yeah, and just a fair warning, yes, I'm going to be absolutely glazing this album the entire video.
Gorillaz and the Boss Dog, Planet of the Apes.
The record starts with an orchestral intro that sets up the scene perfectly. I've always pictured the island itself appearing out of the fog whenever I hear this piece, and it transitions perfectly into the first track on the album, Welcome to the World of the Plastic Beach. This song goes so hard, bro. I mean, what a way to start an album. We have Snoop Dogg basically acting as our tour guide welcoming us to the island. And the mix of 1970s funk and 1980s synthpop makes for a super unique and dynamic sound, which is a dead giveaway about how weird and experimental this album is going to be. What a great start.
Welcome to the world of the Plastic Beach.
White Flag is overall the strangest song on the album and feels super out of left field in the best way possible. It starts out with an Arabic orchestra playing this kind of piratey sounding piece until all of a sudden we're thrust into this weird 8-bit sounding electronica beat that sounds like it came straight from a video game. And then we get incredible and super fun performances from grime rappers Bashfi and Kano, who bring so much charisma and energy to their verses that really elevate the track and make it work way more than it should. Like, who else but Damon Albarn would think to mix all these different sounds? He may not be on this track vocally, but his production on this track is just incredible, which can be said about the rest of the album, which unlike other Gorillaz albums was produced by him alone. White Flag is a super underrated and incredibly fun song that I love a lot.
Just founded like Nemo on a D-Lo. I don't know if it's green or but it's green though.
Grindstone Eyes is an iconic Gorillaz track that's definitely one of the more well-known numbers on the album. This is the first time on the record we get prominent vocals from 2D, and he's doing this classic talk rapping thing that he's done on previous tracks like Feel Good Inc. This is another wildly experimental track and has some of the catchiest synth melodies I've ever heard. Like, there technically isn't even a chorus on this song, but that is so damn catchy that it might as well be the chorus of the song. The lyrics about the corruption of nature and the rise of technology give this track such a dark vibe, and that works in its benefit. The song is seen as a classic, and it's not hard to see why. Oh my god, this record is just hit after hit. Stylo is a song that only a band like Gorillaz could possibly make work. The verse we get from Mos Def is nothing short of amazing, and the vocals from 2D are great as well. But oh my god, Bobby Womack completely steals this song and he never gives it back. Bobby was one of Damon's favorite musicians, so obviously having him on this record was huge for him. And he gives it his absolute all on this track. He has such a powerful voice and presence on this song that I couldn't imagine anyone else filling that role. Stylo was simply incredible.
It'll be flowing on the street.
Pretty packages of frosted delights.
Look, it comes with a toy. I like that.
When I was around 4 years old, I loved this song. It was one of the first Gorillaz songs I ever heard along with All Alone, but I gravitated towards this one a lot more. Back then though, I didn't know what the song was called, so whenever I wanted to listen to it, I'd ask my mom to play the Breakfast song, and that's what I knew the song as for years until I rediscovered it later in life. This is still one of my favorite Gorillaz songs though, and it makes my top 15. De La Soul goes absolutely bonkers on this track, and a performance that's somehow even better than Feel Good Inc. Yeah, that's right, I said it, fight me! And that chorus from Gruff Reese gives this song the vibe of an old cereal commercial, which is obviously intentional. This is the funniest and catchiest song the band has ever made, and it may be really goofy, but that's part of what makes Gorillaz Gorillaz. Empire Ants is my favorite song of all time. Nothing makes me feel the way this song makes me feel. It's simply a masterpiece, and I honestly have no idea how it's even possible to make a song this perfect. Superfast Jellyfish transitions seamlessly into this song, and we're thrown into this beautiful and melancholic acoustic guitar number with some really touching and tender vocals from Damon. But then we get that second half where the beat switches to this funky synth track with an amazing vocal performance from Yukimi Nagano of Little Dragon. And that transition to this new sound is nothing short of genius. This could have easily been done badly and ended up being super jarring, but they somehow make it work perfectly. I love Empire Ants more than any song that's ever been made. It's the most beautiful and masterful thing Damon has ever made. Funny enough, they follow the best song on the album with the worst song on the album. I'm mostly kidding. I actually like Glitter Freeze, but in comparison to the rest of the record, it isn't nearly as good. It kind of functions more as an extended interlude rather than its own song, but it's catchy enough and has a pretty good synth melody. Plus, the Morse code at the beginning that spells out Plastic Beach is a really cool touch. Not at all the best the album has to offer, but not a bad track.
Some kind of nature, some kind of soul.
We're right back on track of this next one. Some Kind of Nature is awesome and has some of the most interesting lyrics from the record. We get some great, almost spoken word vocals from the late Lou Reed, and some barbershop quartet style harmonies from 2D that are pretty reminiscent of his vocals on Highway Under Construction from D-Sides. The bass line and piano parts are real highlights in terms of instrumentation, and the song as a whole is a super fun and catchy number. Love this one.
Find us, all we are is stars.
We've reached yet another one of my favorites with On Melancholy Hill. This is my third favorite song on the album and my fifth favorite song from Gorillaz in general. And it's another one that ended up becoming one of the most iconic and recognizable Gorillaz tracks. This song is beautiful and simply majestic in its sound. That main synth melody is so simple but so effective in getting across that bittersweet emotion that the song has. This is a rare occasion of an outright love song from Gorillaz, and it has some beautiful vocals from 2D. There's always been something so comforting about this song. It just gushes with creativity and love. Absolute masterpiece.
The coal and the submarine, the world will go.
Back-to-back classics. Broken is my second favorite song ever, right behind Empire Ants. And as I mentioned in my video about Roadrunner by Brockhampton, only a few songs have ever made me cry, and this is one of them. Whenever this song comes on, it fills me with such intense emotions, and I just have to stop whenever I'm doing and be fully immersed in it. This song has some of the best lyrics in the entire Gorillaz discography, especially in the second verse, and these heartbreaking lyrics from Mr. 2D's vocals make the song an emotional roller coaster. I'm deeply in love with this track, and the live version with the extended outro that has that brass section is even better, and I honestly wish it was incorporated into the actual song. But nonetheless, I still love this one a lot. Broken is beautiful.
Nothing you can do for them. They are the force.
Sweepstakes is hands down the most underrated Gorillaz song out there. A lot of people act like it's one of their worst, but F that, I love Sweepstakes. The way it starts off with a relatively simple beat, but gradually builds up to this explosive, brass-heavy monster of a track is incredible, and Mos Def goes absolutely crazy on this song. I don't care what anyone says, man, Sweepstakes is fire. Sweepstakes! This is an absolute banger of a song. It has a great intro with bass and guitar parts from Paul Simonon and Mick Jones of The Clash that add a spooky vibe to the beginning. But then this super weird and trippy beat drops, followed by some great vocals by 2D. But the real highlight of the song is that hook though. Like, god damn, it has zero business being this catchy, but it sure is. Much like Sweepstakes, this song starts out relatively simple, but gets bigger and more layered until the end, where we get the super groovy outro. What a great title track. This is yet another one of my all-time favorite Gorillaz songs. We get another stellar performance from Yukimi, but this time she's doing this back and forth duet with 2D that works perfectly. The song is about drug abuse and a broken relationship, neither of which is new territory for the group, but it's tackled in such a heartbreaking yet tender way on this track. The instrumental is beautiful and has some of the best vocals on the album.
On the cloud of unknowing.
Cloud of Unknowing hasn't quite made me cry, but it's definitely come close a few times, especially after the death of Bobby Womack, which makes the song hit me even harder in the feels. The song was originally sang by Damon, and although he's my favorite vocalist ever, I'm glad he gave this one to Bobby, because his vocals add such a unique and beautiful quality to the song. The atmosphere of this track is unmatched, and that string section at the end is super haunting. Cloud of Unknowing is a gorgeous and super underrated song.
Sinking love.
Hello, it's post-editing Arc here. Just a little update. While I was getting the audio for this song, that part actually did make me tear up, so I guess the song has made me cry now. That's awesome.
Pirate Jet is definitely a strange ending, but I think it's the perfect way to close this strange album. Sure, it might not be as climactic as Demon Days or Sokai, but it feels like a fun little palate cleanser after the heaviness of Cloud of Unknowing, and that long fade out at the end feels like we're slowly sailing away from the island as the song continues forever. Well, at least for the next 100 years.
For 100 years.
I tried to warn you at the beginning I was going to be glazing this album the entire time. There's basically nothing negative to say about this album for me, I just love it a lot. Anyway, that's enough fun of me, goodbye.